So this is the political shift which we observe. Social impact, we will notice over here that women, they had entered the workforce, right? By this time, we had seen emergence of economic empowerment across Europe. And the women's, they will get the political rights such as voting rights in Netherlands, such as UK, such as in USA. Is it clear? In India also, we notice that in Pune Pact, the year has been wrong here, in the Pune Pact we will notice that was 1932, and later in Government of India Act 1935, we see that a limited franchise, you can make it correct, it's 1932, a limited franchise has been given to women based on the concept of property. And UPSC in its prelims 2020 had already asked this question. Okay? Demographic changes had been made. What happened? That there were multiple casualties. We had seen by this time that the male population had declined, and there was a altered sex ratio across the world. The population growth, it had slowed down. And how it had slowed down? Due to the loss of young men in the war, right? Family and social life, yes, now the male, he was the earlier bread earner, he had loss of life in war, so there was destabilization of the family life. In education, we see that there is decline in older student population, and it led to economic imbalance and unemployment across Europe. Now, we had also noticed over here that there has been emergence of new value system. Initially, there was a policy of laissez-faire capitalism, right? And now this policy has been completely replaced by the welfare system, which is based on pension and healthcare system. So now the concept of social justice has emerged among the countries. What do we notice over here is that initially the government was autocratic, right? The government was imperialist. The government was just thinking about how to sustain industrial revolution, how to be a superior power in Europe. And there was a monarchical form of government. This was the major reason. Now, the shift in power is towards the constitutional form of government, and this government was working for the welfare of people. Numerous pension schemes were coming out, numerous healthcare schemes were coming. Now, with the formation of constitutional form of government, there is a two-way process. It is the people who pay taxes to the government, who say that it is we, the people of India, are giving by constitution to you to have a rule of law in this area or in this territory or in this nation. And government has a certain set of duties which is establishing or taking care of the health of the people. Is it clear? Now, this concept of social justice has given rise to the conception of socialism and labor rights. In a very extreme form, we had seen that the Russian Revolution, okay, which is based on the concept of communism, the extreme form of socialism, we had seen that it led to establishment of USSR, that all the states, a commune basically, all the states which were surrounding Russia, they had decided to join Russia. Is it clear? They wanted a collective state property governed by the people, so that there is no prevalence of economic disparity among the people. State is controlling all the resources. Is it clear? In India, later we will notice that India did not pick up completely Russia's socialism, but India had picked up a Fabian socialism, which said that certain sectors will be state controlled, just say heavy industries, nuclear, atomic power, railway, banks, all this will be under state control, whatever is the PSUs, right? But India, it went on a mixed model. We were a democratic capitalist nation, but we had elements of Fabian socialism. So apart from this, we had also seen in India, trade unison had gained momentum. This we had noticed with formation of AITUC under Diwan Chaman Lal. Is it clear? Now, another point, another impact which we see over here is the economic impact. Now, destruction and inflation had been all across Europe. What we had noticed that the industries had completely collapsed, both the agricultural industry and both the industrial industry, definitely. And the governments, they went on resorting to deficit financing. This you will be studying in your GS3 economics. It means that government, it goes on printing the money, and it led to inflation and shortage in the economy. There had been decline of free trade across the European countries. It is said that these countries, they borrowed heavily from US. Is it clear? And it weakened their economic currency. The measures in the trade, protectionism, it had increased. Now, whatever free trade these imperialistic British and French nations were having, they could not have that with USA, because USA emerged as a major power. Is it clear? Apart from this, we also see that the colonies, they had become supply of a raw material and the finished good. Now let's see it in context of Indian scenario. What happened in India was, by this time we had seen industrial commissions in 1916, 1921, and these had encouraged industrial growth. FICCI was formed in 1927 as a nationalist industrialist platform. In fact, the industrialists, they did not participate in the non-cooperation movement in 1920, right? They were hesitant. But later they did support Mahatma Gandhi in 1913 civil disobedience movement after the Great Depression, 1929. This was a large mass scale inflation. We will notice that it led to crippling of the economies across the world, and UPSC has asked a question on Great Depression in its mains. Rise of labor movements across the nations. First of all, with spreading of this concept of socialism, there it led to organized labor movement in India. I have already discussed. All India Trade Union Congress was formed in 1920 under Diwan Chaman Lal. The three major factors clear: politically done, socially stagnation. Politically we developed. Politically it was good. We developed as independent constitutional nations, right? Second, socially there was stagnation. Third, Economically, again, we